12:30 a.m.
Good morning. Wake up, New Orleans. Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy
Good morning.
Thursday. I am Dr. Ashanta Wyatt, your host this morning. My co-host in studio with me is none other than Senator Wesley Bishop. And behind the glass holding us all together is Nyron. Good morning, y'all. Wake up.
Good morning. Good
How
morning.
y'all feeling? Listen, it's a good day. It's been a trying day, but it's already a good day. We have a dynamic show lined up for you today. We are going to talk to Angel Vanderpool, CEO of New Orleans Regional Black Commerce Chamber of Commerce, along with Bernard Robinson III. And if that's the Bernard I think it is, he's a big old Edna Cougar. We're going to have that conversation. Of course, you know, we're going to talk to our congressman right here on Thursdays. As always, Congressman Troy Carter Thursday. So we're going to hear from him at 7:20. And then we're going to hear from Dr. Tammy Denise. She's going to be talking all things breast cancer awareness. Also, too, this morning, we have a treat. We're going to hear from Leslie Bowie. She's going to tell us all things Orleans Parish Democratic
She is their chair.
Executive Committee.
Yes.
Yes, she is the chair. So there's some things happening that she wants to inform us about. And you know, this is the place to inform people, baby. WBOK, 12:30 a.m. So if there's an issue and you want us to know about it, call us. The number here is 504-582-9422. We always have things to talk about. So look, she's early already. So we're going to talk to the chair of the Orleans Parish Democratic Executive Committee, Ms. Leslie Bowie. Good morning. Welcome to the Good Morning Show. Are you there?
And welcome to the listening audience. Can you hear me?
I can now.
Good morning, Leslie.
Yeah, good. I can hear everybody as well. Before I start to talk about politics, I have to give a shout out. You know, Dr. White, I've been a fan of yours for a long time. You've always been, you know, a thought leader and a visionary in the field of education, doing great work. But I never thought you were such a fantastic radio talk show host.
Neither did I.
Oh, my gosh. I really enjoy your show.
Stop it.
I listen in every day as long as I can. I mean, you know, but like you said, it's a station we listen to all day long, but I do particularly enjoy listening to your show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on this morning. I just wanted to take a few minutes to just talk about the election, talk about the voter turnout, and talk about what we need to do going into November 5th. As you probably know, our state turnout, about a third of our voters turned out already to vote in early voting, 849 versus our 3 million, which is good, you know, but it's actually 84,000 more than we had in the 2020 election. But when you look at Orleans Parish, our early voting is down. It's down 78,000. It was 78,000, so it's down like 92,000 from the last time. You know, it was 78 this time. It was 92 the last time. And it's so important that we stress we've got to get out and vote. You know, we have in OBDEC, we have a slate of candidates that we've endorsed. Of course, Mel Manuel in Congressional District 1. She's running against Steve Scalise, and she's a great candidate. In Congressional District 2, we have the phenomenal incumbent Congressman Troy Carter, who's just been showing up and showing out. He's doing amazing things for the district, delivering in ways that we didn't even think were possible. So he's also our endorsed candidate. And it's so important, too, that we focus on and recognize that with our school board races, we have the opportunity to change the whole trajectory of education in Orleans Parish. If we are successful in electing Dr. Eric Jones and Dr. Donaldo Batiste, along with Leila Ames and Nolan Marshall, we will have the support in the Orleans Parish School Board that we need to really make some positive changes and drive some of the things that Senator Bowie has been trying to accomplish through the legislature. So I just want to remind people, please go out and vote for those two candidates. I also want to share a little bit about OBDEC, who we are and what we do. You may remember, and your listeners may remember, back in March of this year, they went to vote in an election, and there was a long list of people, maybe 20 to 40 people, and it said pick 14. Well, those 14 people that were elected in each council district made up OBDEC. I was fortunate enough to be elected in District D, and then again, fortunately enough to be elected chair. So I chair an organization of 70 people made up of 14 in each council district. So our goal is, and our mission and our aim is to endorse and get elected Democratic representatives in any race, every race. We want to elect Democrats. So we do that by registering voters, educating voters, encouraging voters. And that's what we've been doing since we've been in office like 6 months. We've been having voter registration drives, events, meet the candidate drives. We held a forum at SUNO to talk about Project 2025 and the dangers of Project 2025. We've been doing a lot. We've been doing a lot of sign waving, trying to energize people now that voter registration is over. We're out knocking on doors. One of the things that I did when I became chair of OBDEC is we formed some new committees. And one of those committees was the data analysis committee, where we're actually looking at data, identifying areas where the voter turnout is low, and trying to knock on doors and also trying to phone bank those areas. So we kind of know where the voting lapses are, and we're working really hard to get that, to change those numbers. We do need volunteers, however, and I'd like to just go ahead and put out my phone number because it's on our website anyway. It's 504-416-0343. If you have interest in volunteering to canvass with us, to knock on doors, or to phone bank, please call us because we'd love to have you. But that's who OBDEC is. And, we have a really exciting group of people, some more involved than others, as with anything. But the ones that we have, they've just been fantastic, really doing a great job.
Leslie, I just want to jump in for a second and congratulate you on becoming chair of OBDEC. I spent 20 years on OBDEC since I was, when I first got out of law school and had a chance to work with that. And what you're doing, knocking on doors, being the local arm of the state Democratic Party. As you know, when we look around the state, oftentimes the state of Louisiana sometimes looks very different from the city of New Orleans. So New Orleans also has provided, leadership to the rest of the state. Oftentimes we get help from our peers in Baton Rouge, help from our peers in Shreveport, but a lot of times outside of those metropolitan urban areas, it gets a little bit difficult when we're trying to deal with those rural areas. So what you guys do and what we do on a regular basis is critically important. And once again, trying to get folks out, and you talked about the numbers being somewhat down, in New Orleans. It's really important for those numbers to be up because the numbers that we generate in New Orleans are used to kind of offset a lot of what we see in some of the rural areas in the state of Louisiana. So really appreciate what you guys do on a regular basis.
Great, thank you. And one of the things, so just to say a little bit more about how the party is structured in Louisiana. Well, of course, Jamie Harrison is the national chair. Then we have a new state chair, Randall Gaines. And every parish has a Democratic Party committee. So what he's been really trying to do is travel the state, energize, and get those other DPECs as involved as all these parishes. So we're how they say, eating this elephant one bite at a time.
Yes.
We're really trying to get people involved at every level. And, I've met some amazing people from around the state who are really doing hard work and really surprised at the effects of the work that they're doing.
Very good.
Really, really surprised. So, but anyway, like I said, we continue to do the work. I've got a great team working with me to the extent that we have a few people in every district that come out and show up and show out. I just want to encourage everybody again, please go and vote, support our candidates, Mel Manuel, Congressional District 1, the amazing Troy Carter, Congressional District 2, who, I just can't say enough about him, okay? And then, of course, our two very important school board races, hugely important. Dr. Eric Jones, Dr. Donaldo Batiste. We need them so desperately. If you see in the morning paper, there's an article about the risk of closing our only public school in the Lower Ninth Ward. It's on the front page of the paper. It's a charter school. We've got to do better. We've got to do some work around that. So please go out and vote.
Go ahead.
Well, Leslie, like I said, you guys do a phenomenal job on that, and Dr. Wyatt pushes on a regular basis, and we'll continue to push, particularly until this upcoming Tuesday. It's extremely
Absolutely.
important. The numbers that have not gotten out, I guess, for early voting, we can always make that up by going to the polls on Tuesday. So we want to make sure that that happens, Doc.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
well, thank you
And
for your
again.
service and thank you for the work that you're doing with OPDEC. We absolutely appreciate you. Like when you hear the last name Bowie, you can't do anything but respect the push and the moves that they're trying to make because you know it's on behalf of all of the residents, not only of just community, but the state as well. So thank you so much for all the work that you're putting in.
And thank you both for having me on the show.
Have a great morning.
Thank you, Doc. Good
Have a
morning.
great one. Thank you. Bye-bye.
You too. Listen, I appreciate when people want to come on and inform us about things, and so there's been this conversation around the early voting numbers and the turnout, and so it's good to get that clarity from someone that's close to the issue, and we're not speculating on the numbers. So though we're she said we're up in totality of early voting numbers, but we were a little bit down from I guess this region.
Yes.
This particular region. But anyway, there's about a third of the voters who early voted. It's 849,000 as opposed to the 3 million. So you still have 1 day left. We are 5 days away from Election Day. Happy Halloween to those of you who are going to put on your costume and go trick-or-treating or trunk-or-treating with the kids today. I think I am. I have a godson, and he's 3 years old, so he definitely wants to go and trick-or-treat. I don't know if I'll wear a costume, but if I do, I'm going to be Harley Quinn. But if I don't, I'm just going to be Dr. Wyatt, going out there bringing my godson to go and get some candy. So happy Halloween for those of you who are participating.
Happy Halloween. I have two sons, 14 and 10, John Wesley and Justin. Y'all should be up and getting ready for school right now, so I guess you're out. But they definitely love to trick-or-treat. They usually go out with their cousins in the area and have a good time. So I got some candy for you guys when I see you.
Well, the article that Ms. Bowie made mention to is the only public school in New Orleans' Lower Ninth Ward could close, and here's why. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Charter School is an F-rated K-12 charter school in the Lower Ninth Ward is at risk of closure after it did not meet the school district standards for an automatic renewal of its charter. The school operated by Friends of King School is the only public school in the Lower Ninth Ward. When I read this article yesterday, because I all things school, I try to keep my ear to the issue. I know that Attorney Willie Sanders is a board member, I believe, if he's not the chair of the board. I know he's on the board. And he spoke of all of the things that the school is doing and all of the programming that is in the school and all of the resources the school does provide. Reverend Willie Calhoun is also in the article, and he was talking about how that is the larger employer for that area. And so if you do away with the school, you're doing away with an economic base in that community that could really do some harm to the community if you close it. So as an educator, for me, while I do want schools to live up to their academic promises, what I do understand is closing our way out of failure isn't going to get us to success either. So we either put the interventions in the school, put the people in the school who can help turn it around, invest in the school. And I think that's a more viable option than just simply closing it. I don't know the very particulars of like how long they've been on this F trajectory, but what I can say is the article also made mention that we should wait for the new scores that are getting ready to come out. And if that is the case, if there's an opportunity for us to just wait a little bit to see the new data and see if the school is progressing, I don't believe we should make a hasty decision when it has such dire implications for our whole community of people. So I do support the survival of that school. I'm hoping that the NOLA public school system can do what it has to do to support that school and give it what it needs to thrive. But I mean, again, the bottom line is we can't close our way out of failure. It just will not happen. So on the other side of the break, we're going to continue having in-depth conversations. It is Congressman Troy Carter Thursdays here on WBOK, and we will talk to our congressman on the other side of the break. Please stay with us. This is WBOK 1230 AM.
What New Orleans is talking about
What New Orleans is
all day
always
long.
talking about. Stay with us.
That's right. It's party time each and every Sunday night at 7 p.m. on WBOK. It's the Throwback Throwdown with DJ Wick as he brings you the best in old school from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and the early 2Ks. Plus, the party goes to another level at 9 p.m. with the Throwback Throwdown Party Mix to round out the night. It's the Throwback Throwdown Sunday nights at 7 p.m. on WBOK 1230 a.m. and on the World Wide Web at WBOK1230.com.
I'm Daryl Forges with WDSU News, and here's your headlines. This morning, fire officials are trying to determine the cause of a fire at a townhouse in New Orleans East. We're told it happened at the corner of Skyview and Airway Drives. When crews arrived on scene just after 7 p.m., we're told an adjacent townhouse was also damaged from the fire and water. Thankfully, both units were empty and no one was hurt. The New Orleans Police Department is working to hire an outside assessor to examine its promotion process after we've learned a round of officer promotions were paused. NOPD Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick says this outside group will have no connection to the city, and they're tasked to make sure the promotion process is based on merit, not politics. Kirkpatrick says the concerns are echoed throughout other cities, and the issues with the promotion test is not unique to New Orleans. All right, the countdown to the Super Bowl clean zone is on. That's because the city of New Orleans says all construction and utility projects have to be finished by November 30th or pause all work until after Mardi Gras. This is to make sure all Super Bowl and Carnival preparations can continue without disruption. All right, it's officially the spookiest day of the year. While Halloween brings out fun costumes and candy, it also brings out a large police presence to help keep families protected. But there are steps you can take to make sure you and the kiddos trick-or-treat is safe. So keep flashlights, glow sticks, and lights on hand for any events after dark. Keep an eye on drivers and walk on sidewalks and paths. And make sure your kids have a chaperone. I'm Daryl Forges, and that's your headlines for WBOK.
I am Leo Jackson, bringing gospel music to you each day. I pray that you will go out and vote. It is very important to pray. It is also important to vote. God bless you that you will make the right choice.
For everything you need to know, go to GoVote.com. That's GEAUX Vote.com.
NOLA Public Schools is excited to be on this 2024-25 school year journey with our families, watching our students dive into learning, growth, and success. As the school year continues, our dedicated educators are focused on keeping every student engaged and motivated. Let's keep embracing new challenges, celebrating achievements, and supporting each other to make the rest of this year even more impactful. Stay connected with your school and NOLA PS through our social media channels for updates and resources. We're here to help our scholars. Attend today, achieve tomorrow.
People's Health has a new Medicare plan designed for people with diabetes, chronic heart failure, or cardiovascular disorders. It features a monthly over-the-counter allowance, lower costs for a number of prescriptions, and lower specialist copays than non-special needs plans from People's Health. To learn more about a chronic special needs plan, call 1-800-342-2147. Plans are insured through United Healthcare Insurance Company or one of its affiliated companies, a Medicare Advantage organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in the plan depends on the plan's contract renewal with Medicare.
Greetings, WBOK family. This is Jason Clark, host of United Way and You. Be sure to tune in next Thursday at 12 p.m. when we'll be speaking with Melanie Richardson, co-founder and executive director of Training Grounds, a United Way funded partner. The topic will be the We Play, We Connect Family Resource Hub. Please tune in if you're able. Until then, we only have one life to live, so live united.
Experience the heartbeat of New Orleans at the 2024 Treme Creole Gumbo Festival. Join us on November 9th and 10th as we indulge in an array of gumbo offerings crafted by local chefs, each bringing their unique touch to this classic dish. Live performances featuring the Soul Rebels, Brassaholics, Tanya Boyd Cannon, Charmaine Neville Band, and many, many more. Visit us at www.tremegumbofestival.com for more information.
Hello, I'm Gary Clark. Please tune in to Dr. Clark 101, The Living Classroom, which is broadcasted weekly every Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. on WBOK 12:30 a.m. on your dial. And as always, it's been a pleasure.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 12:30 a.m.
Good morning, wake up.
The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK 12:30 a.m.
And We are back. We are back. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I am Dr. Ashanta Wyatt. In studio with me as my co-host this morning is former Senator Wesley Bishop, and behind the glass is none other than super producer Nyron, holding us all together. And if you're an avid listener of WBOK, you know that Thursdays belong to our congressman. So we are excited to have conversations with our congressman, and he is already on the line. Good morning, Congressman. How are you? Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Good morning, Dr. Wyatt. Good morning, Senator Bishop. Always great to be with you guys on this glorious Thursday morning.
Good morning, Doc. Good morning. Look, Doc, are you in D.C. right now, or are you in the Crescent City?
I am in the Crescent City. We're just a few days from Election Day, and we are touching the people and energizing and encouraging people to please exercise your right to vote. It's critically important. We've had record-breaking numbers with early voting. Now we need people to tee it up and be ready to get out next Tuesday.
Now, I know you were out on yesterday afternoon on West Judge Perez in Paris. You were out there with a bunch of your supporters waving signs. Are you not just campaigning for other folks? I saw you out there campaigning for yourself.
Yes, sir. We're out just getting the word out, getting people to know what's happening, that it's Election Day and it's important to come out and vote. So we're trying to get around to all of the parts of the city to make sure that no single area stays home. It's just too important and too critically important that people come out and vote. Literally, our democracy is at stake, and making sure that people understand. You know, I've said to you guys on the show before that for years we've said vote as if your life depends on it, and up until now, it's been a really good dress rehearsal, but now it's game day. When you look at Project 2025 that seeks to dismantle our democracy, people have to really, really, really realize this is greater than the threat in the early 90s of David Duke, when people circled City Hall to register to vote because David Duke was running for governor.
Absolutely.
This is even greater than that. So if you imagine the amount of energy and concern people displayed because they didn't want a Ku Klux Klan member to ascend to the highest office in the state, well, we're in a situation where our democracy is once again at risk.
And Congressman, I know that you're one of the more active surrogates for Vice President, soon-to-be President Kamala Harris, and you've had a chance to travel the country as it relates to that. Just wanted to get your thoughts on something real quick, and it's something that's been kind of on the front page the last 2 days or so, and that being at the situation at the rally back at Madison Square Garden 2 days ago, where you had the comedian who was there on behalf of the Trump campaign making disparaging remarks about the country of Puerto Rico. Can you talk about that just a second and how you think that kind of speaks to the stark differences between the two individuals who are running for president?
Yeah, absolutely. If anybody listened to, quite frankly, anything that happened at Madison Square Garden that day, whether it was the warm-up act, the nutty comedian, or when the candidate himself came out, you have to really ask yourself, is this the America that I know? Is this the America that I want to raise my children in? Is this the America where people are comfortable being so overtly racist and xenophobic and profane and just downright nasty and vulgar? And remember, Senator, most people don't realize this. Well, that guy stood up there and called our vice president the kind of vulgar names when he referred to our brothers and sisters in Puerto Rico of being a floating pile of trash. When he mentioned to an African American who was in the audience, oh yeah, he's out there carving a watermelon.
Absolutely.
For Halloween. These were the cleaner parts of his speech. Because, listen, and now the Republican Party, the MAGA Republicans are trying to move away and say we didn't condone that. Well, wait a minute. Guess what? That whole speech was vetted.
Yeah.
The whole speech was vetted. So the message that sends is that you don't care about everyone. You only care about some. And then you put that against the Harris-Walz ticket, who has a campaign that's saying we have a seat for everyone. This is an inclusive party, a party that is going to recognize the civil liberties and rights of all Americans, regardless of your zip code, regardless of your religion, regardless of your location, regardless of your socioeconomic standards, regardless even of your party affiliation, that this America belongs to all of us. Now you choose. Do you want someone that is divisive, someone that is mean-spirited, someone that has a deficit on policy, or someone that understands the importance of inclusion, advancement, prosperity, peace, tranquility, safety? Message seems pretty clear to me. I looked at that situation at Madison Square Garden, and I thought, you know what, my kids my sons are both adults now, but I thought, wow, this is CNN. You can't even let your children watch CNN anymore because of the hate-filled speech that was being spewed at a political rally, no less, where you should be encouraging your children to learn and watch the civics in action. It really is a low and sad moment for America when this kind of hate speak is allowed to be pervasive. And you know what's even more frightening is that there are a large swath of people who subscribe to that level of hate. We're bigger than that. We're better than that. And the best way to prove it is to come out and vote in record numbers and shut this foolishness down and get going with the governance and rebuilding and working at creating a more perfect union and make America the place that it's supposed to be, inclusive for everyone.
Congressman, one last thought before we get some of the specifics about what you've been doing this past week. And there's been a lot of conversation over the last 2 weeks that's been focusing on black men and black men's agenda and where we'll be voting and who we'll be voting for. But as a black man, I'd be remiss if I did not say this. One of the statements that I heard at that rally that really rubbed me the wrong way and quite honestly really just kind of pissed me off is when the one individual came on and talked about the people who were running Vice President's campaign as her pimp handlers. When I heard the statement pimp handlers, I went back in my mind, people who are considered to be pimp handlers handle prostitutes. And so to equate the Vice President of the United States and the potential President of the United States as having pimp handlers, when this person has distinguished themselves in every form and fashion her entire life, as a black man, I took that personally, particularly in defense of black women in this country. So to have that happen, and everyone who is here, regardless of where you stand political spectrum-wise, everyone has a black woman, a black mother who has worked extremely hard to make sure they had everything that they actually had, oftentimes in the absence of other individuals who should have stepped up and done what they were supposed to do. So to hear a black woman referred to in those terms really just made me upset. Your thoughts on that?
That should incense every person in America, black, white, other, but particularly any self-decent African-American man who knows the strength and the power of the black woman in our community should be incensed and should instantly come to their defense. If nothing else moves black men to the polls, that should move you to the polls to say, we're not going to sit back and let you disrespect our mothers, our grandmothers, our wives, our sisters, our nieces in that way. We've been taught our entire life to love, respect, and protect our women. And this notion that somehow we're going to let some jackleg clown disrespect our sisters.
Absolutely.
Let me be clear. Black men have been loving black women our entire lives, and we're going to continue to love, respect, and protect our sisters. And we're not going to let any clown diminish their value, diminish their worth, disrespect their being, and relegate them to some B-rate movie skit of the 1950s where black people were depicted as pimps and hoes. We're not pimps and hoes. Never have been. Never will be. And that foolishness, black men, wake up. Let's come out and show them better than we can tell them. And my suspicion is on Election Day, you're going to see the defense of Kamala Harris, not just because she's a black woman, although that's sufficient, but because she's a black woman that is prepared, a black woman that has the requisite experience, know-how, and ability and intellect and temperament to lead our country on an international scale. And for the clowns who don't like it, get over it.
Listen, I couldn't have put it any better than that. So listen, Congressman, I wanted to ask you about this Robert F. Kennedy statement that he's gone to the media with, saying that Donald Trump promised him control of the public health agencies for his support of Trump in this presidential election. Are we now doing quid pro quo for
It sure sounds that way. And what a horrible quid pro quo to make.
Right. Like he's going to control all of the health agencies, the HHS, and the sub-agencies, the CDC, the FDA, the NIH, and a few others like the USDA. I think that's a dangerous thing to do, to give someone support of governmental agencies simply because they decided to support you in a presidential election. And I mean, his name is still on the ballot, so he's still going to draw votes, but he publicly came out to endorse Trump once he conceded his run, but to support him not on his policy or not on his plan for America, but basically because he's promised you control of these governmental agencies. Something should be unethical about that.
It is completely unethical. It's dangerous. It's reckless. It's unacceptable, and it's downright frightening for a number of reasons. One, you're publicly selling an office, but equally as important, you're promising a political payoff to one of the most substantial policy-setting organizations dealing with national health care.
Right.
To a person who doesn't believe in health care. This is a guy who called COVID a hoax.
Yeah, he's an anti-vaxxer.
Millions of people are dead.
Yes.
Millions of people are dead. But he says it's a hoax. He wants to ban all vaccinations. So our well baby visits, our inoculations that our babies get for measles and mumps and all of the other chicken pox and now COVID and all of the other. He wants to do away with all of that. That again demonstrates how reckless and unhinged this whole campaign in its attempt to govern America into the ground. And that's why I say with such emphasis, brothers and sisters, we have to really open our eyes wide. We have to tell everyone who listens, we have to get to the polls. We got to bring people who will join us, black, white, other, Hispanic, Asian, other, Democrat, Republican, Independent, other. This is not an RRD thing. This man is unhinged.
Yeah.
And everyone who cares about life and liberty should be frightened about the things. Rather, it's RFK, the 900-page Trump 2025, the hate speak that we saw at Madison Square Garden, or all of the other things that we see playing itself out. There was someone in South Carolina just yesterday I saw went to vote and physically got into an altercation with a group of women. There's a big old man trying to fight a bunch of women and elderly women in a voting booth because he wouldn't take off his Trump hat. Well, you know you can't go into a voting booth with any kind of paraphernalia on. This is just the beginning. We're going to see more of this, and everyone has to stand up against it.
Absolutely. Look, we have, every time you come here, our phone lines are always jumping. So we have a caller on line 2. Good morning and welcome to the Good Morning Show, Aaron. You're on with Congressman Troy
Good
Carter.
morning.
Aaron?
Good morning. Y'all can hear me?
Yeah.
All right, good morning. How y'all doing?
I'm good.
Yeah, you're right. First shouts out to the Fatherhood Roundtable as well as People's Political Party. Brother Congressman, I just want to say the reason why these people feel so comfortable with attacking our sister is because some of us as black men are not doing our job protecting our black women. You look at that racist Steve Scalise, also that racist Clay Higgins, also that racist mushmouth John Kennedy. I know you probably done seen the commercials what they done aired about this sister. At some point, we got to stand up and start G-checking some of these people and letting them know that our sisters are off limits, because we see the links and the lengths where they are willing to go when it comes to their women. I believe that we need to take the same approach and let them know that our sisters are not to be played with. Straight up. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you for your comments.
You said a mouthful, Brother Aaron, and you're absolutely right. To the kind of hate speak that we hear coming from some of our elected officials, and is unacceptable. And I tell people every chance I can, you can't give them a pass. They represent black people too. You got to call them. You got to email them. You got to go to their offices and seek to have a meeting with them, to peacefully go and ask to have a visit, to look them in the face and remind them that you took an oath of office to represent all people. And the kind of hate speak and the kind of things that you say and do, we're not going to put up with that. We're going to vote you out of office. And more and more people have to understand and step up. And Brother Aaron, you couldn't be more correct. We all, particularly as black men, we have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to step up, to protect, to honor our communities, and to be responsible. And that's our jobs. Black women have been the bedrock. They have carried our community through slavery
Hold it down.
to present.
Hold it down.
And we have a responsibility to love, respect, and protect them always.
Absolutely, Congressman. Listen, you have some callers, and I'm going to ask Papa Baptiste and Ms. Jones to hold with us until the other side of the break. We will have more conversations with our congressman. This is Congressman Troy Carter Thursdays right here on WBOK 1230 a.m. So after the break, we will talk more with him. Hold on for me, Papa Baptiste and Ms. Jones. We'll be right back. WBOK 1230 a.m.
What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK 1230 AM from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
The first half of the day stays mostly dry. Highs will be in the mid-80s. Scattered showers start this afternoon into the evening. It won't be a complete washout. There will be windows of opportunity this evening to trick or treat. After 6 p.m., lingering showers will remain and eventually fade overnight. Some of us will be dodging showers on Halloween evening. Few showers left over for your Friday. For the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
Mommy, want to play a game with me and Dad? Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with DayQuil VapoCool. It's DayQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is DayQuil VapoCool.
DayQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
Hi, it's Dr. Shepard with Honeydew Products, here with your Medical Minute. Did you know the average American woman uses about 168 chemicals every day? Common soaps, shampoos, conditioners, and makeup all include prominent and known toxins. These include sodium lauryl sulfate, 2,5-diamine toluene sulfate, PEG3 cocamide, formaldehyde, decamethylcyclopentasiloxane, and chemical fragrances. However, the risk of being exposed to these chemicals is higher for Black women. Allow me to quote a study from environmental research. Hair products used by Black women and children contain multiple chemicals associated with endocrine disruption and asthma. Because use of hair products differs by race and ethnicity, these products may contribute to exposure and disease disparities. They tested 66 chemicals belonging to 10 chemical classes. The hair products tested contained 45 endocrine disrupting and asthma-associated chemicals, including every targeted chemical class. They found cyclosiloxanes, paraben, and fragrance marker diethylphthalate, DEP, at the highest levels, and DEP most frequently. Root stimulators, hair lotions, and relaxers frequently contain non-phenols, parabens, and fragrances. Anti-frizz products contain cyclosiloxanes. Hair relaxers for children contain 5 chemicals regulated by California's Proposition 65 that were also prohibited by the European Union Cosmetics Regulation. Targeted chemicals were generally not listed on product labels. To learn more about healthy hair and healthy hair products, give me a call. It's 504-858-4696.
This has been your Medical Minute with Honeydew Products on WBOK.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK 1230 AM.
And we are back. We are back. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I am your host, Dr. Ashanta White. My co-host this morning is none other than
Senator Wesley Bishop. Good morning.
Behind the glass, holding us all together, super producer Nyron. Thursdays belong to our congressman. And Congressman, you have the lines lit up. So we're going to take some calls really quickly. Bonjour, Papa Baptiste.
Bonjour. Comment ça va?
Good morning. Good morning.
Ça va bien.
Celebrating this beautiful day with beautiful voices, Doctor. I appreciate your service and everything you're doing for our community and everybody at the station. Troy, this is Damon's dad.
My dear brother, how are you, sir?
My son's Ryan. Yeah, my son's Ryan's event, Local Fest. I appreciate you showing up. That was very, very, very nice of you. I have 7 daughters, and one of them is the executive with Whitney Hancock. The other one is Dr. Chanel, clinical psychologist, and 2 other daughters that work into HR. And one of my daughters, we had to deal with the AI situation. And if you hadn't been through that and felt the loss of not being able to get help, well, my daughter went through it. I had to share something with her. I went through it as a man with her mother, and if we would have went to jail under the state's abortion plan, the way they have it set up right now. Even if an individual gets sick and needs help through the transition for that, the program, from what I understand, is cutting that help off. I couldn't imagine my child not getting help because, of the state saying, no, we ain't gonna help you. That's cruel. They already, we in a cruel red state already. It's cruel. And the young men that think Donald Trump gave them this stimulus money, some of that needs to be pulled out to say the Democratic Congress gave that to us, and he tried to stop everything, just like he's trying to stop the Affordable Care Act. And certain information needs to be put out. Should be disseminated to our community, from the barbershops to the hair salons, to the hospitals, to the recreation centers. and let them know we're not actually voting for Democratic and Republican. We are actually voting to keep democracy. So I'll listen, Congressman. It's a pleasure y'all taking the time to listen to Papa Baptiste, Papa David Russell Baptiste Jr. My son Damon was inducted into the Louisiana Music Hall of Fame. So that means myself, Russell, and Damon, a father and his two sons, are in the Louisiana Music Hall of Fame.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congressman Troy. Yeah, thank you, Troy. We appreciate your service. All the other than Jacques was with us last night. Jacques came to my son's induction. And so information needs to be put out in our community because it seems to me, I'm going to leave you with this, how could they possibly vote for the other side when the other side is putting our race down, our women down, the health us down, and they're putting that in our face. It's directly in our face. They say, look, we're doing this to you. Now, y'all not interested. Y'all dancing and partying and second lining down the street and everything. Y'all don't give a crap about this. Y'all don't think y'all vote is worth anything. But it's worth, every one of our votes is worth $1 million. If you tell a young black man to stand on the corner that's doing nothing and say, hey, bro, can you vote? Yeah. Hey, bro, your vote is worth $1 million. It's worth something. You don't just say, oh, man, I ain't voting. It ain't going to help me. Oh, what? They are voting to cut democracy where you can't stand on that corner, where y'all can't have no more hip-hop parties. But they could cut music completely, like in Russia and in China. I'm a musician. I know they can stop it. So
thank you, Papa Baptiste.
Get our community information. That's what they need, information.
Thank you, sir.
Brother Baptiste, you said a mouthful. The world famous, internationally known, internationally talented, the outstanding ambassadors of music for our great state and our city, the Baptistes, and this is the patriarch of that musically talented family, and he said a mouthful when he talks about wake up. Look at what's happening around you. Look at your value. Look at the importance of what's at stake. Your vote has value. You have value. Your community has value. We collectively can control our fate. Brother Baptiste said that we have a red state. We only have a red state because we don't vote. We have a blue state if we vote. Listen, the fate that we have is self-inflicted fate. If we vote, if Democrats vote, if black folk vote, if Asian, white, and Hispanic Democrats all vote, guess what? We're not a red state at all.
Right.
The power is ours.
Absolutely.
We have to wake up and recognize and not fall for the okie doke, not fall for the trick of making us believe that we're less than. Brothers and sisters, you are less than nothing. You're equal to everything at the very minimum.
Well, we have some callers on the line waiting to speak with you, Congressman. On line 3, we have Ms. Jones. Good morning, Ms. Jones. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for letting me be here, and I appreciate you, Troy Carter, and Dr. Bowie, and Dr. Shanti. I appreciate you all very much, and I wish more people would listen. For that man who spoke, he must be speaking of somebody else that he knows in his family, not Kamala, because the world knows her as she is. Professional, outstanding, and even in their own language, somebody would translate it for them. So he must be really confused. He's had some of Trump juice and whatever else it is that's got their minds just gone wobble. But please don't listen. Audience, please do not listen and encourage other people to listen to BOK, to hear all the brilliant people that call in, give information. And whatever you do, please vote for her, because with Trump, we'll be like Ukraine. Trump is just a dizzy somebody. He's really far. He's gone. He's too far gone. He doesn't even need to be nowhere near the White House.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. We appreciate your call every time you call. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you all too, and people just need to listen and find out the history because, as I said, it goes back. Russia said that you would destroy within, divide and conquer, and they used somebody not like Trump.
So, absolute great point. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Ms. Jones, thank you very much for your raw wisdom. The wisdom of someone who obviously is paying attention, and we need more people to pay attention and to listen and to read between the noise, read between the junk that seeks to confuse and divide us. The whole notion of wanting us to be asleep. No, we're not going to be asleep. We're going to pay attention. And we're going to vote, and we're going to defend, and we're going to protect, and we're going to stand on the principles of a democracy that is of the people and for the people.
Absolutely. And listen, Reverend Rakazna is also on the line with a comment or some commentary for you, Congressman. Welcome to the Good Morning Show. Good morning, Reverend Rakazna.
Good morning, Pastor.
Good morning. Good morning,
Morning,
Congressman. Good morning. Good morning to Dr. White, and good morning to Senator Bishop. I just had to call in, Congressman, we need your help. There's so many forces against us here in the Lower Ninth Ward at MLK High School, which the information was leaked that we're closed. And you could imagine what it does to the morale and the effect it has on our community. I want to say that the true story haven't been told. I don't know how that school board thinks, along with their president, but this is what I do know. When that storm came through here, was nothing supposed to come back in the Ninth Ward. And through our founder, Dr. Hicks, along with our CEO, and all the following train, we made a commitment to come in this Lower Ninth Ward so that we could have a school for our people and those who might live here. We take exception to the fact that the board would sit there and just pontificate on the problems that we have. And I'll admit, we do have problems, but not enough to close our school down or change our charter operation. Let me say this. Our teachers are some of the most dedicated in some trying situations. They don't look at one app who sends us the students, and we take students from everywhere. And the bottom line is, it's so unfair. And, you know, fairness is really not a part of the issue. Politics come into play. We know that the governor got his hands in there. School board dictate. And we, as a community, because our teachers live in the community, our students live in the community, it's a total injustice for them to do that to us. In fact, we registered our children, took them to go vote, make sure they voted in this election because we understand the importance of this election. But not only that, we understand the importance of education and educating the whole child. We hear the superintendent talk about a boutique school. We're very unique in our location, unique in the population that we serve, and unique to the fact that we provide the services that our children need. Senator Bishop was there, and we thank him for coming to speak on behalf. He wasn't on that. That means he comes through the school and participate all the time with us. And so I say this to you because I know time is running tight. Don't let them do that to us, Congressman. You're one of the hardest working congressmen that came through here. And I know you will take a look at it. We'll continue to pray for you, follow your leadership, and we hope and pray that in the final analysis, we be given the credit as well as the opportunity to continue to serve our people. Thank y'all for
Thank you, Reverend Kastner.
Thank you, sir.
Reverend Kastner, thank you so much for your incredible and tireless leadership on so many different fronts. I have visited with you. I've been to the school, and you know that you can count on my absolute full support in anything that I can do in the full weight and authority of my office to stand in, stand up, and to support the efforts to make sure that our people all over, and particularly in the Lower Ninth Ward, are not left behind. So God bless you for your incredible work, and I stand ready to be with you 100% to help.
Well, thank you, Congressman. And listen, our session with you always goes so fast because when you're on, the people want to talk to you. But I know there's some work that you've brought to the state of Louisiana, particularly to this city, that we're going to continue to talk about here on WBOK. But I just want to thank you for joining us this morning, as you do each and every Thursday. So thank you for your work. Thank you for who you are. And thank you for always being available to us.
Thank you, sir.
God bless. God bless you, Senator. God bless you, Dr. Wyatt. God bless WBOK. Keep providing unfettered facts, information to the people, a pipeline where people have an opportunity to not only hear, but to be heard.
Thank you
God
so
bless
much.
you all.
Have a great one.
Thank you.
So listen, that is always an insightful conversation with our congressman, but we have such a dynamic lineup still to come. On the other side of the break, we're going to talk to Angel Vanderpool, CEO of New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce, along with Bernard Robertson III. That is going to be a conversation on wealth building and community engagement. Stay with us right here after the break, WBOK 1230 AM.
What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
WBOK 1230 AM New Orleans. Home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
This news report is brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. President Biden is calling for an investigation into the country of Georgia's election results. Biden is asking the nation's government to look into all election irregularities and is holding back on recognizing the ruling party Georgian Dreams claimed victory. Parts of the country are in the grips of a Halloween heat wave. Forecasters say the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes are experiencing summer-like temperatures with record highs possible in cities like Chicago and Detroit. New York City and Washington, D.C. will see daytime readings near 80 degrees on Halloween. The number of job openings fell in September. The Labor Department says fewer than 7.5 million jobs were available, which is a drop of more than 400,000 from the previous month's revised tally. And this year's Rockefeller Center Christmas tree is coming from Massachusetts. Organizers say the 74-foot Norway spruce in the small town of West Stockbridge will be cut down November 7th. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
Join New Schools for New Orleans, Allstate Sugar Bowl, and Entergy New Orleans in recognizing and celebrating the Teachers of the Year at our 3rd annual New Orleans Excellence in Teaching Awards, Noetta Gala. The gala will take place Saturday, November 2nd at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. This year's gala will feature Grammy-nominated Tank and the Bangers. Don't miss out on this intimate celebration supporting our New Orleans public school teachers. Tickets can be purchased on our website, newschoolsforneworleans.org.
It's off the top with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
It was heartbreaking to watch scores of unhoused people being forcefully removed from their temporary encampment by Louisiana State Police and state wildlife and fisheries officers by order of Governor Jeff Landry. City officials and homeless advocates and caretakers begged Landry not to do it. They were already working together with each individual without shelter to find permanent housing for them. The state didn't give much warning. Some officers wore flak jackets, some carried guns. It was as if they were going to war. These vulnerable neighbors of ours were dislodged from their makeshift homes under the bridge at Calliope and Claiborne. They had to pack up their belongings and relocate to an area behind nearby Home Depot. Essentially, they were out of sight of the Taylor Swift crowds expected in town for 3 days of concerts and other Swiftie events. Governor Landry wants the world to see the best of New Orleans during Swift's New Orleans visit and during the NFL Super Bowl. But instead of putting the best foot forward, the governor has put his big foot on plans already in place to find permanent housing for those in the Calliope homeless encampment. Unity of Greater New Orleans Executive Director Martha Kegel says, outreach caseworkers were already in the process of trying to match people with landlords in an effort to move them off the street. The action by the governor, she says, created chaos and anxiety, leaving some people traumatized and scattered. Now the caseworkers don't know where they are and consequently can't house them. Moreover, Cagle says they're concerned that people with severe mental illness in the camp may further deteriorate and think that housing advocates can't be trusted now because they think that the housing advocates had something to do with police coming in with guns. City Councilwoman Leslie Harris says she's been asking the governor for help to solve the homeless crisis since he was elected to office. He has sent no additional money for services or anything else, says Harris. As for cracking down on the homeless in advance of the Swift spectacle, Harris says you don't put your problems in a closet just because a guest is coming by. I couldn't agree more. Quite frankly, it's tantamount to putting lipstick on a pig and calling it cosmetic surgery. This is Norman Robinson off the top.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK 1230 AM.
Good morning. We are back. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show.
Good morning. Good morning.
Here at WBOK 1230. Listen, Thursdays are always dynamic because we have an opportunity to pick the brain of one of the leading policy makers and legislators in this country, our Congressman Troy Carter. So we want to thank him for his service. Y'all always call in and sidetracking us. We didn't even get to talk to the congressman about all of the initiatives, particularly with the Garden Plaza progress that's being made with the demolition. So we're going to talk about those things in the coming days, but I wanted to personally thank our congressman and personally thank the WBOK listening audience because you guys are so brilliant. So thank you to Papa Baptiste, to Aaron, to Ms. Jones, and Reverend Rakaz, and all of the people who decided to call in and engage our congressman. And hopefully the residents and families of the Lower Ninth Ward do not lose their school. I think that would do a huge disservice to that community and to those children. Whatever it takes to get the school back up to standard, that's what we need to do. We cannot close our way out of failure. So thank you to our congressman. I hope that he looks into that and help them out in any which way that he can. But right now in studio with us is Angel Vanderpool, CEO of New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. She's going to talk to us about wealth building and community engagement. And it is my understanding that there's a wealth building symposium coming up really soon that we're going to talk about. So welcome to the Good Morning Show, Angel.
Good morning, Angel.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Listen,
good morning, listeners.
Our pleasure. So we always do like a little brief check-in with our guests. How you feeling today?
I feel just fine.
Have you voted? Not yet.
So I did not early vote.
You did not early vote, so you still have till Tuesday.
That's right.
Senator, make sure you
don't you worry.
I will make sure that you vote.
I come from a voting family.
And look, Doc, I would be remiss. I definitely want her to vote, but I got to do a shout out to her mother, Gladys Allen. If you're not up, get up. Miss Allen was the registrar at SUNA for 20-some-odd years. I would not have a degree today, but for her mama. So I want to make sure we give a shout-out and make sure that everybody in that family, Charles, your younger sister, Dewana, everybody, make sure we go in. I know the family. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Well, please make sure you vote.
You would have to know how many.
We have 5 days left.
Pink slips I had to pass out as a child with soul tickets. So you can best believe.
Yeah.
And in the memory of my dear mentor, Dr. Leetta Allen Haynes, let's make sure we get this taken care of.
We will.
Well, listen, we already welcomed Angel Vanderpool, the CEO of the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce, to the WBOK studios. But in that moment when we were giving her mother her flowers while she could still smell them, a big old cougar walked into the room, and we going to put some respect on his name. You understand?
The University of Ethnic
Bernard Robinson III just walked in, and since we shouting out parents and whatnot, I want to shout out Bernard Robinson Jr., my coach, one of the leading Ethnic Cougar pioneers. So we gonna put some respect on the big Bernard's name while we at it.
Oh, for sure. God.
I doubt he's up listening right now.
Uh-oh.
You know, retirement has taken its toll, and he don't get up before a certain time now.
No, but no, you got to shout out your better half. Now, your better half is a dear friend and a good supporter.
I know she's listening because she's stuck in that same traffic I was trying to get downtown. But Renisha Robertson, CEO.
Good morning, Renisha.
Well, guess what? She's going to be on
House,
soon, so we could bow to her feet when she gets here because she's definitely going to be on soon.
Yeah, I just try to keep up with her.
She's absolutely. Well, listen, you married well. shout out to that. And Nicole,
sometimes they would say that's the other way around, but
you married well. But listen, thank y'all for being here. Thank you for being here. You had to battle some traffic, but we want to have this important conversation on wealth building and community engagement. So let's start with your wealth building symposium that is coming up this Saturday. Tell us more about that.
Sure. So the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce, we know is a membership-based organization. And what we try to do is engage conversation in our current economic climate, right, around not just the community, but our members. So when we look at our database and we hear particular issues, we try to curate those conversations, those forums that will be a benefit, to both parties, right? So how do we expose our members? How do we enlighten the community? So the Wealth Building Forum came about because we have a number of members that are investors and attorneys, and just FYI, I'm also a real estate broker. So when we have conversation about how can we do things differently, how can we do things better, it was what are the various areas of weakness in the African American community, and then how do we create, conversation and dialogue that's engaging and still, informative. So the wealth building came about because we always say there's a wealth gap. There's this black financial wealth gap in the city. There's this financial disparity. So when we look at that, we were like, it's a no-brainer, and it's about time. And what really can be of value to the conversation is really not just pulling people together, but educating, right? We didn't want to just have, a showcase of providers, right? Industry experts. I think the best way to try to, encourage and minimize is through education. So that's what we're doing. And we've pulled in some really, phenomenal leaders as it relates to wealth building. We have the Hackett Group, which is why, Mr. Bernard is here. We have Jared Coyne from J.E. Coyne participating with his group. We have first I want to say we speak on the 8 pillars. So that's the first. We're introducing the 8 pillars, not just wealth building. So we have real estate, we have taxes, understanding tax strategy. Just conversations we typically don't have, and I think those are the conversations where we get left behind. So this is also sponsored by Chase, J.P. Morgan Chase. They're a funder and a sponsor for the Black Chamber.
So the Wealth Building Symposium will take place this Saturday, November 2nd. The registration time is 10 a.m. and the panel discussions will start at 11 a.m. at Lindy Boggs. It's free.
It is free.
It is very much free, so you might want to get up, get out, listen. And it's before the voting day. So go and enjoy this information about taxes, estate planning, philanthropy, all of these sessions. And, of course, we have the Hackett Group. Well, Bernard represents the Hackett Group. You want to tell us more about your participation in the Wealth Building Symposium?
Sure. Managing director of the Hackett Group. And so what we look at is the holistic view of individuals, their families, and small businesses, especially on our private wealth side. Just coming back from a seminar and conference in Dallas, and what we're talking about is ultra high net worth, right? And I'm looking at the room, scanning the room, and there's 3 out of 50. 3 of us, meaning melanated people, out of 50 in the room. And the conversation focuses around real estate. It focuses around insurance. It focuses around estate planning. It focuses around how we get all of the money that we've earned or accumulated over generations into the right hands, into the right assets, that they will continue to grow and benefit us long term. Whereas, if you look at what the New Orleans Data Center has been able to collect on information on us as African Americans in this city, we have a significant wealth gap. We don't just have a wealth gap like they have across the nation. We have the largest wealth gap of any major metropolitan area in the country. If you're not a homeowner, you're 2 to 3 times more likely to be in negative equity, meaning that you're not just at zero. You don't just have nothing.
You're below zero.
You're in debt, in significant debt, not the debt we like to talk about: student loans, car note, mortgage, things that are helping us acquire anything. You're in debt trying to survive. So we want to be able to speak to that and help out our entrepreneurs. We definitely want to be able to help out those that have been running businesses for generations. We have a lot of family businesses here that just have not grown beyond, their daily hustle. So what Angel and the Black Chamber is being able to do is to bring resources to the table that most of us won't have access to, right? Most of the financial institutions, they have thresholds that if you don't have so much money, you haven't been working with them so long, you're not going to get access to professionals like these. And if you look at the lineup of the professionals, typically you would be paying thousands of dollars to just register for a conference like this. So when they say it's free to come out, I know typically we don't look at things, if it's free, we don't think it's that important. This is something that, without question, if you're not there, you're missing out. You can't say that you're trying to make it. You can't say that you're trying to better your life or get your life together if you're not being participatory in things like this.
Absolutely. So how does the symposium aim to address financial literacy within the community?
So I think what it aims to do is not just connect, like we're saying, those individuals and attendees, but also educate. We can't, if we can't play if we don't understand, right? We don't, know the rules. We don't know the pillars. If we don't know the individuals who can make a difference. So we're doing two. I think that educating and connectivity is, are the biggest. And one of the things that really, encouraged us to just kind of move forward, I was in attendance in Georgia at InvestFest, right? So this couple of years I've been going, and I was just amazed how 30,000 young African Americans came together in the Georgia Convention Center, right, for a weekend and spent $250 general admission, or $2,500 to $5,000, right, for VIP to sit and listen about making money the entire weekend. That's all it was. And I said, we have nothing here that really stimulates the economic growth and changes the mindset of the average African American youth, right? Because if that was, a 20-year-old, when is a 20-year-old in New Orleans really sitting in a room to hear, about money? They would probably have to have traveled there, maybe caught it on, Instagram. And when the Hackett group, as soon as I told them, they were like, oh no, we're all over this. Mm-hmm. So we, certainly appreciate their, participation and providing that insight and wisdom, and the introduction, because, look, it's a Saturday.
Right.
People could be doing a whole lot of other things, but I think in terms of making a financial impact on, in your future is probably more significant.
So, Bernard, are you leading one of the panel discussions, or are you a part of the panel discussion? Can you tell us about the part you'll be speaking on specifically?
So I'll be joining Stephen Dast, and we'll be talking about stocks and bonds in particularly.
He's also opening up. He's one of our sponsors.
Yeah.
Listen, so don't be modest here. You're also a sponsor. Talk to us about that, so you'll be on the panel and you're sponsoring.
We're trying to make sure whatever needs to be done is done, so people get the info.
Exactly.
But yeah, we're there to talk about stocks and bonds in particular in that specific panel. But there are other panels, as Angela alluded to, that speak to a number of different things: wealth planning and financial planning and estate planning. they're not all the same. There's also what you need to do with insurance. All insurance is not the same. And we know we live in an insurance-laden state, but you have different types. You have life insurance and insurance for investments, which most people overlook. You've got your property insurance, which we're accustomed to and we spend way too much money on. You've got banking. Having a personal relationship with the banker goes more than, that conversation you have with your teller when they're cashing your check. They don't just know you to be able to make sure your check doesn't get a 5-day hold. You have to have a relationship so that they understand what you're trying to accomplish. So that's good to have Chase Bank there. We need more banks at the table to be able to do that. You also want to make sure that real estate. So we're heavy in real estate, especially in the African-American community. Real estate is first and foremost the asset that we look to invest in first, but there's different types of real estate to invest in, different types of ways to invest in real estate. So we have to be educated on all of that. We would all like to have a portfolio where we've got 20 rental properties, but are you prepared to manage those 20
right, because that's a whole different animal. Yes, you could acquire it, right? Managing it is different.
That's not a passive thing that you're about to enter into. But if you want real estate and you want to be passive, then you need to understand how you do that. So having all of those experts at the table to be able to talk to and pick their brains, like Ajel said, you can go to InvestFest, you can go to a couple other conferences that they have around the nation. You're going to pay, and you're going to pay heavily. And to try to get access to the professionals, you're going to pay even more than the VIP, the $2,500 for the VIP. Because I can tell you, the conference I just left from, right, we didn't have anyone in there that did not manage under $1 billion for their clients. Everybody that comes and steps to them has to have significant money, right? Most of the clients of these folks, they didn't take them unless they had over $1 million. Right? You're not going to get access to this level of professionals if you're not showing up when it's afforded to you. So again, it's a Saturday. You don't have to stay all day. Come for what you specifically want to hear about. And I guarantee you might stay longer because some other things are going to pique your interest, but come.
Right, and when he says come, he's asking you to come to the Lindy Boggs building. It is free. The panel discussions will start at 11 a.m. You can register as early as 10 a.m., and it is Saturday, November 2nd. Please get out and get this information. And it, just as you said, when people think free, they don't think it's valuable information, but you are providing a invaluable service, I would dare to say, because a lot of us it's just overwhelming sometimes to have to put your financial picture into focus. And it's overwhelming when people have to think about things like estate planning. But we have a lot of loss here. And I think experiencing this kind of loss and not having a plan for it is doing yourself an additional disservice on top of your grief. So it is good to plan, but we do have a caller. If y'all want to engage our listening audience, Reverend Calhoun is on line 1. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Good morning to all. Will there be a discussion on retirees that want to make sure that their family is not it has some resources after they leave here? One of the things that I find that most retirees is just taking their checks and not really planning for that generation behind them to have something. So is there a table, a panel that will discuss those that's in retirement and how to best handle the monies that they have to make sure that their family can be in that generational wealth thing? I'll hang up and
thank you for your call.
So yes, we will. As a matter of fact, we do have legal. We have attorney Michael J. Hall. You know, Mike is phenomenal on estate planning and laying out, particular strategies for those that are, maybe facing some issues as it relates to retirement. And we also have former Judge C. Hunter King. So both, I think, on that panel will give the insight, and obviously the legal expertise. But keep in mind, this is not just a one. You really have to understand how wealth grows and works, that it's the connection of the team that makes the individual successful going forward.
Angela, I got to give you a shout out. You guys have a phenomenal panel that's actually going to be there. But I'd be remiss if I didn't. You mentioned C. Honey King and you mentioned Stephen Dash. Those are two of my fraternity brothers from Suno at Epsilon chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha. That's all right, Doc. Everybody couldn't be a member. I get it. So
trust me, we're covered.
Everybody,
06, my brother. 06.
But no, in this minute that we have left, because you know that Greek talk will take you there. It will, right? How do you envision the impact of this symposium on the local community, either one of you?
Well, going back to Pastor Calhoun, which shout out to Pastor Calhoun, he's been riding with us for a long time. You know, when we think about generational wealth, we typically think about what we can pass down, but generational wealth starts long before the person that you're thinking about is even in this world, right? You have to conceptualize what it is that you want to do down the road. So you have to envision that. And to your point, it might get overwhelming. We don't need to be overwhelmed when we have professionals, right? We know if our kid gets caught up in the streets and they have to get a lawyer and we know how to find a lawyer.
Right.
We know that if we have someone that is having a succession done and we have to transfer the title on the house, we know how to go and find somebody to do that. We find the people where we want, right? So now we're telling you this is how you can find the people and start building those relationships, because everybody here has probably worked with each other professionally, because you, as a investor, as a person, as anyone living in the United States, you have assets. You just don't know where they are. You don't know how to properly use them. You're the general manager. You're the GM. A little bit better than Mickey Loomis, but you're the general manager, and you have to put together your team, your lawyers, your advisors, your accountants, your bankers. Everybody has to work in conjunction for your benefit and your family's benefit, and that's what this is bringing to the table.
Listen, the Wealth Building Symposium, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, and I was going to, just really quickly say, I think, what we've got to get out of the mindset of is that we are a one-income society right now. Yeah. You know what I mean? And what does that look like, to create an additional revenue, or multiple revenue streams? Because me being in real estate, I'm always hearing, hey, look, the insurances have gone up. Yes, they are, and it doesn't mean that they're decreased. So what are you doing to step up in your life and lifestyle to meet, life where it is?
Well, the first thing they have to do to step up is come to the Wealth Building Symposium on Saturday, November 2nd. Registration starts at 10 a.m. The panel discussion will be at 11 a.m. It is taking place at the Lindy Boggs Building, and it is free. So we want to thank our guest, Angel Vanderpool, CEO of the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce, and Bernard Robertson III with the Hackett Group for this conversation, important conversation on wealth building. But I want you to stay right here with us on WBOK 12:30 a.m. After the break, we'll hear from Dr. Tammy Denise. She'll be talking all things breast cancer awareness. So hold yourself right here with us, WBOK 12:30 a.m.
What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Hey New Orleans, Tavis Smiley here, inviting you to join me each weekday evening at 7 p.m. right here on WBOK 12:30 a.m. for the Tavis Smiley Show. You can expect great guests and getting the answers you need to know. It's the Tavis Smiley Show on our new home in New Orleans, WBOK 12:30 a.m.
Tavis Smiley. Ranked number 45 on the Heavy 100 list of the 100 most important radio talk show hosts in America.
I'm Daryl Forges with WDSU News, and here's your headlines. This morning, fire officials are trying to determine the cause of a fire at a townhouse in New Orleans East. We're told it happened at the corner of Skyview and Airway Drives. When crews arrived on scene just after 7 p.m., we're told an adjacent townhouse was also damaged from the fire and water. Thankfully, both units were empty and no one was hurt. The New Orleans Police Department is working to hire an outside assessor to examine its promotion process after we've learned a round of officer promotions were paused. NOPD Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick says This outside group will have no connection to the city, and they're tasked to make sure the promotion process is based on merit, not politics. Kirkpatrick says the concerns are echoed throughout other cities, and the issues with the promotion test is not unique to New Orleans. All right, the countdown to the Super Bowl clean zone is on. That's because the city of New Orleans says all construction and utility projects have to be finished by November 30th or pause all work until after Mardi Gras. This is to make sure all Super Bowl and Carnival preparations can continue without disruption. All right, it's officially the spookiest day of the year. While Halloween brings out fun costumes and candy, it also brings out a large police presence to help keep families protected. But there are steps you can take to make sure you and the kiddos trick-or-treat is safe. So keep flashlights, glow sticks, and lights on hand for any events after dark. Keep an eye on drivers and walk on sidewalks and paths. And make sure your kids have a chaperone. I'm Daryl Forges, and that's your headlines for WBOK.
This is Jared Bro, intern producer on WBOK 1230 AM. Be sure to get out and vote. If you are currently not registered to vote, please consider registering today in preparation for the upcoming presidential election on November 5th. Every vote counts.
For everything you need to know, go to GoVote.com. That's GEAUX Vote.com.
NOLA Public Schools is excited to be on this 2024-25 school year journey with our families, watching our students dive into learning, growth, and success. As the school year continues, our dedicated educators are focused on keeping every student engaged and motivated. Let's keep embracing new challenges, celebrating achievements, and supporting each other to make the rest of this year even more impactful. Stay connected with your school and NOLA PS through our social media channels for updates and resources. We're here to help our scholars. Attend today, achieve tomorrow.
New Orleans Burlesque is back. The Red Light District, located on the second floor of your New Orleans headquarters by Nice Guys, presents a captivating, international, award-winning burlesque experience that will leave you breathless. Indulge in the sounds of our Grammy Award-winning quartet and exceptional food pairings each and every Saturday. To purchase tickets, visit Eventbrite.com, and remember, what happens in the Red Light District stays in the Red Light District.
Experience the heartbeat of New Orleans at the 2024 Treme Creole Gumbo Festival. Join us on November 9th and 10th as we indulge in an array of gumbo offerings crafted by local chefs, each bringing their unique touch to this classic dish. Live performances featuring the Soul Rebels, Brassaholics, Tanya Boyd Cannon, Charmaine Neville Band, and many, many more. Visit us at www.tremegumbofestival.com for more information.
Sunday mornings are reserved for a good word on WBOK. This Sunday, be sure to catch Dr. Kevin Stevens Sr., the pastor of Christian Unity Church, for service and a powerful, full, inspiring word. Listen live every Sunday morning right here on WBOK.
Hello, I'm Gary Clark. Please tune in to Dr. Clark 101, The Living Classroom, which is broadcasted weekly every Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. on WBOK 1230 a.m. on your dial. And as always, it's been a pleasure.
This is your news update for WBOK 1230 a.m. from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
The first half of the day stays mostly dry. Highs will be in the mid-80s. Scattered showers start this afternoon into the evening. It won't be a complete washout. There will be windows of opportunity this evening to trick-or-treat. After 6 p.m., lingering showers will remain and eventually fade overnight. Some of us will be dodging showers on Halloween evening. Few showers left over for your Friday. For the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
Oh, this new dose is... nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
Dr. Donaldo Batiste stands with our families, fighting for better schools, charter and traditional.
It's simple. Strong traditional public schools are necessary, as are strong and thriving charters. Our kids deserve options that work for them.
His opponent? She's taken thousands from national charter school donors. They want charters to dominate New Orleans But Dr. Batiste believes in balance and local control.
No dark money, just a focus on what's best for all students.
Vote for integrity. Vote for Dr. Donaldo Batiste.
This message is approved by and paid for by Friends to Elect Dr. Donaldo R. Batiste.
Greetings, WBOK family. This is Jason Clark, host of United Way and You. Be sure to tune in next Thursday at 12 p.m. when we'll be speaking with Melanie Richardson, co-founder and executive director of Training Grounds, a United Way funded partner. The topic will be the We Play, We Connect Family Resource Hub. Please tune in if you're able. Until then, we only have one life to live, so live united.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
Hello, Jaguar Nation. This is Chris Powers, the voice of your Southern University Jaguars. Southern hits the road this week, and we want you to be a part of the action, so don't miss the play right here on WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about. Join myself and Hall of Fame coach Pete Richardson for this Saturday's game as the Jaguars battle the Alabama A&M Bulldogs. Countdown to Jaguar Kickoff pregame show starts early at 1:30 p.m. and kickoff begins at 2 p.m. right here on WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about.
Hey everybody, it's Kimber White Dupree.
And it's Graylin Bryan Banks from the front porch. We're coming up next.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK 1230 AM.
The program you are about to hear has been pre-recorded for airing at this time. Please hold all phone calls. Once again, this is a pre-recorded program.
Yeah.
Well, good morning, Dr. Denise. How are you this morning?
Good morning. I am a little tired at this point in the month, but I'm well.
Well, listen, I am Dr. Ashanta Wyatt, co-host of the Good Morning Show. So I just want to cordially invite you or thank you for being here with us this afternoon, sharing your time with us. So thank you for being here. And we always kind of try to do check-ins with our guests. So I did ask you how your day was. How's the weather there, wherever you are?
I am in Los Angeles, California at the moment, and it's a little overcast and cool. So, yeah.
Well, Reverend Tammy Denise, Dr. Reverend Tammy Denise is a dedicated empowerment and healing woman of color affected by breast cancer. With over 2 decades of experience in ministry, counseling, and nonprofit leadership, you've made an indelible mark in this work as the co-founder and president of Carrie's Touch, telling our untold chronic healing stories. Tell us more about your nonprofit organization and what is it committed to?
Yeah, our organization is really, it was established 18 years ago to give another voice to Black women and our experiences. And as a, almost 20-year breast cancer survivor myself, I say our experiences trying to navigate the murky waters of a breast cancer diagnosis. So, that's our target audience. And I always have to say this because invariably I get someone with some flashback saying, oh, how are you a reverend and you don't include God's children? We don't discriminate, but because of the high mortality disparities, we target and focus on Black women because it's ridiculous that we're still talking about 41% of Black women are dying from this disease. And this October, we've actually dedicated the month to celebrating the 59% of us who are surviving because, what we focus on grows. And so we don't want to keep focusing on that 41%. We want to start acknowledging the women that are surviving in an effort to increase the number of Black women who survive this disease.
And I'm learning more about your story, and I hear that you have a personal journey and a personal testament in terms of being a 2-time breast cancer survivor. But for our WBOK listening audience, can you tell us more about your personal journey and how has it influenced your work with Carrie's Touch?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't actually qualify myself as a two-time breast cancer survivor, even though I had two incidences. And what I mean by that is that in 2004, I was diagnosed with invasive ductal carcinoma in situ. And what that basically means is that the cancer had already broken through the milk ducts and gone into my lymphatic system, and the cancer was spreading throughout my body. So I am one of the fortunate ones that was able to get diagnosed early. And so I had a lot of treatment options available to me. At that time, I was 39 years old. I was a single mom with three incredible children, and I wanted to see them live. I wanted to see them grow up and, do the things that their hearts desired to do. But breast cancer was telling me that that probably was not a possibility. My doctors came into the exam rooms and they told me the statistics about the 41%. They told me that I would likely not live 5 years beyond the diagnosis because the cancer was so aggressive and it had already spread, and they kept talking about death, and I just stopped them in their tracks and I said, hey, let's stop talking about how I'm going to die or when I'm going to die, and talk to me about what options are available to me to live. And from that moment forward, my doctor took a different perspective on how to treat me. And later he came to me with an opportunity to participate in a clinical trial. And, in the Black community, we have a faux pas around clinical trials because of so many egregious acts that have taken place in this nation, but specifically and well known, the Tuskegee syphilis trial, where Black men were withheld treatment for syphilis and told that they were being treated instead. And that trial ultimately lasted for decades. I mean, almost 4 decades. And so I wanted to know, what did this trial mean? What were going to be the side effects, and what were going to be the implications for me being able to survive? And we're not going to get all technical, but there are various levels of clinical trials. The trial that I was on, because the cancer was not a life-threatening cancer, they actually, had done all of those